Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. It is currently 2:30 in the morning. We are half an hour away from the final episode of Wandavision premiering. Very exciting stuff. All I can say is I'm very excited, and I think something crazy has to happen in order for it to connect to the movie Doctor Strange 2. It's not really a spoiler. It's been talked about everywhere. So whatever happens in the show, I kind of expect something crazy to happen that might change the way we see the MCU or something, you know? So stay tuned, guys, because coming up is my full review of the whole season. See you in a bit. Wandavision. I just watched it, all 9 episodes. It is currently streaming right now on Disney Plus. The way this video will work is that it'll be split in half. The first half is going to be a non-spoiler review where I kind of talk about the general stuff for people who are curious or haven't decided whether paying for Disney Plus is worth it. So that's definitely the first part. And the second part is going to be a spoiler review where I kind of talk about my favorite characters and the story and where I think the rest of the Marvel is going. The rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going. And the other theories. So I'm definitely excited for that. So WandaVision is currently now streaming on Disney Plus. And I will have to say, they did a couple of really good things. Like the original concept of having sitcoms in different eras with those two characters of Wanda and Vision was really handled really well. It also led to a lot of mystery, and I think that that's another strong part of it, was that Disney decided to release WandaVision 1 episode per week. And what that does is two things, a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that it gets people talking. At the end of the episode, we see that Please Stand By, which was really frustrating. So frustrating, it basically became a meme. Like, it appears at the end of each episode. And they're like, that's it? Like, I want to know more. And then people just go on YouTube, and they listen to all the conspiracies, all the theories that are out there about what the show is, what it will become, based on the comic books and that kind of stuff. And so that's really fun. Honestly, that was like a fun part about the show, was just me watching all these YouTube videos right after each episode and thinking like, oh, what's going to happen? But here comes the bad part. We create so much hype and so much expectation in our minds that we forget that WandaVision isn't like a Marvel movie. It's a TV show, which means that sometimes you have to learn to dial it down, because like I told you guys before in my Spanish videos with the telenovelas, because there's more content that they have to fill in, they have less money to divide it into. There's 9 episodes, which probably means that they have millions and millions of dollars, but maybe each episode gets $2 or $3 million. Who knows? Probably more, because 2 or 3 million is probably like an indie movie in today's standards. So there you go. A little bit of movie knowledge for you guys. But when it comes to that type of stuff, you have to kind of think about that maybe everything that you might imagine in your mind might not happen in a TV show because it's a show. But the way they handled it, I think that the characters are really strong. WandaVision, Agent Jimmy Woo, Monica Rambeau, Darcy, they really did a good job. And some other characters. I'm not going to spoil anything, but those are the main characters that are marketed on the show. They do a really good job, and you get these characters like Agent Jimmy Woo and Darcy, who I don't think they were handled that well in their movies. But because it's a movie and you only have 2 hours to explore the characters, they get shortchanged. They get less time on the screen. But with a TV show, we are able to kind of get more time with them. And they go from becoming funny sidekicks to kind of becoming people. People that you would go have a drink with. And I think that's really the power of TV. Even though the budget is lower, they have this really cool ability to make these characters feel like friends, because we see them weekly. So that's a really strong part, but the weak part of it is that our expectations become so high that we forget that it's a TV show. But even though it's a TV show, it does a really good job. The characters. I'm going to say this. I now have a favorite romantic couple in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wanda and Vision. Honestly, the way they're handled in the show and everything, it's really amazing. It doesn't feel necessarily like it's a witch lady who fell in love with a robot, but these two people. And I think that's really the power of the movies and TV, is that they are able to create empathy, for different people, different looks, for everything that maybe day to day you don't really have patience for, or maybe, there's a lot of bad people out there. I'm just going to say it like that. So I think that that's really about it. You know, the show is really well handled. I think that I would recommend Disney Plus for you guys, really, because the show is really amazing. I wouldn't miss it. Just like when you want to go see Marvel in the theaters, it's worth it, and especially right now because the whole season's available. So you probably just pay what, $7? I think that's the average price that they're selling the Disney Plus for monthly, and then you watch all 9 episodes. Probably takes you what, like a day or something, because it's only like 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Around that range is the full length of the show, but it's definitely longer than we're used to when it comes to like the Marvel movies. So it's really cool. So that's what I have to say about that. Now I'm gonna give you guys 10 to 15 seconds to get off the video if you haven't seen the show yet, because I want you guys to watch it. And if you haven't seen the show yet, definitely give this video a like. Put it for save to watch later, which is an option on YouTube, and subscribe, because I want you guys to come back here when you're done watching the show, so we can really compare what we thought about the show. So after the end of the video, you watched the full video, you already saw the show. I want you guys to put in the comment section below what you thought about it. If there were any episodes you like, if you're really disappointed or really like it was really amazing for you, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I will be responding to each and every one of you. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you guys who have watched the show in 10 to 15 seconds. Well, guys, here goes the spoiler part of the video. I'm gonna say this. We were all disappointed, right, with Quicksilver becoming some guy named Ralph Boner, and he just like laughed himself to defeat because it turns out that he was being controlled by Agatha. I was so disappointed. I was like, man, I really liked him because I think that he was so much cooler when it comes to the Quicksilvers. Like when they did the slow motion in the X-Men movies, and he was just like running, and with the music, I like that. It was really cool. I don't know if Flash will ever adopt that, but I really like that because they're making Flash, right? So that's never a spoiler of anything. But definitely, that's my opinion on Ralph. There was another thing where we all thought that Doctor Strange or Spider-Man were somehow going to be a part of this show. Like at the end, it was going to be like Spider-Man would be like, Wanda, I need your help, or maybe Doctor Strange is like, I need your help, Wanda. I'm just kidding. That would be such a comic book thing to happen, but it would be cool. I'll definitely be down for a Benedict Cumberbatch cameo, or Tom Holland. They're both great. So yeah. I think that that's probably the most disappointing part. When I was talking about the whole thing about watching the show weekly and everyone had their theories about how it's going to relate. But they name dropped the Sorcerer Supreme. When Agatha was fighting Wanda, she was like, the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. So that was cool. And Scarlet Witch, man, her costume at the end, it was so cool. She really looked like a superhero. She reminded me kind of like on like the X-Men or something. Because, she's part of the mutants, even though they never really added that. Everyone was thinking about that too. They're like, what if we get the multiverse? Or like the X-Men come in and we see like what's his name? Stewart. Well, the guy who played Professor X. Like he appeared and he's like, Wanda, I need your help. So yeah, so there's definitely a lot of that, Everyone was thinking that it was gonna relate to something. But that's why I said that in the video, in the first part of the review. When I said that you have to remember it's TV, because they probably didn't have the budget, or maybe they didn't have the time, because they already went to London. Right now she's supposedly filming Doctor Strange 2 in London. So that's cool. So that's confirming Doctor Strange 2 where she continues. I really liked the extra credit scene. It was really cool. Where she was like a witch. Where you really saw her look like a demon and she was like trying to find her sons. That was another thing that I really liked about the show. It was like really about pain and it was about a lot of darkness. Because if you really look at the show, the episode where they reveal her whole life, you see she lost her parents. And then she lost her brother, and then she lost her lover, and then she lost her lover and her kids. And I think that there's probably nothing scarier than losing your kids, right? That's a really scary thing to happen to you. So I really like that, I think that she's a really good actress, and she was able to like use that loss and use it. And I think that that's why I would still recommend the show, even though I might be disappointed by some aspects of it, because the characterization of who these people are is really strong. So I think that's part of it. I also liked the relationship and how at the end she was like No, where Vision was saying goodbye to her because she realized that, you know, she's gonna have to end this world, and that means losing her husband and her kids. And she tucked her kids in, you know, she put them to bed, her and Vision, and they're like, you know, good night, kids, and then, you know, sorry, it's a little sad. She tucked them in and to disappear, to die basically, and then she went downstairs and she said bye to basically to her husband, and she was like, and then he said, you know, we said goodbye before, and she said, so it's safe to, you know, it's safe to say that we'll say hello again, and I really like that. From that's when I hit me like the romantic aspect of it, because there's so many like superhero things, you know, like the action and fighting for right, but I think that another strong part of like being human is trying to find someone you deeply care about and finding love. So that was really like well done, man. I really like that, and they put Agatha into the. They left her behind in the world and said you're gonna be a nosy neighbor forever. That was cool, and she's like, "But you're gonna need me," and she's like, "Well, I know, I know where to find you," and that was cool. I was like, "Yo, they trapped her," which is good because Marvel loves to kill their villains. I'm talking about Black Panther, Killmonger, really strong villain. They killed him off, so you know that's really good that they kept her along because honestly she was really good in the show. Like the first half as the nosy neighbor and all this other stuff, and she was weird. She always felt off. You know that was the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was how like how weird it was when the show kind of broke. You know, like the reality broke because the agents from outside from Sword were trying to come in. Oh, and that reminds me, the other strong character that I really thought was great was Monica. I don't know, I just thought she was really cool. Like she was this person that was trying to do the right thing. She literally came back from being part of the Oblivion. You know, she was the people who were part of the blip. She came back and she lost her mom, and she's like all of a sudden into this new world. It was like she disappeared, she came back, and now she's fighting Wanda. So here was a moment that I really enjoyed was in the maybe the sixth episode or the seventh episode where they were doing the where they she came back in and she got the powers, and Wanda took her out and she was like about to like knock her out, and then Monica basically was like, no, you're not taking me out, and then she, you know, she defended herself, and I was like, good, because the other episode she was knocked out twice. We saw her get knocked out twice because the two episodes kind of like gave on two sides of the same story, and then we saw her get knocked out twice. So it was nice to see her get like her payback. You know, that moment. It was cathartic, like they say. So yeah, that's really what I want to talk about. I think that the show was really strong. There was a lot of good episodes and crazy reveals, and how we were able to see the couple of Vision and Wanda come back together. And there was a really cool moment where Agatha was like, "So that's how you use your powers. You're using chaos magic. That makes you the Scarlet Witch." And then we all saw the "Please stand by," and I was like, ah. Or, you know, like the other iconic moment that became big was Agatha all along. Don't copyright me. That was 2 seconds. So yeah, so yeah, it was really cool. You know, it was really well done. I was very excited. I will tell you guys this: I'm not really into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So what I'm gonna do for that video is I'm gonna wait till the whole season comes out, and then I'm gonna watch it. And then after that, I'll make a full season review, so you guys can, you know, figure out if it's good or not. Because I'm still not even sure if I'm interested. But I have Disney Plus, you know, so I'll check it out to see if it's worth it. I want to say thank you again for sticking by. So that's like my spoiler side of the video. You know, watching WandaVision really makes me want to be a warlock. You know, like it would be so cool to be a warlock, which is just another way of saying a male witch. Well, another video, another week. Thanks again for watching, guys. And don't forget, one of these boxes is so you can watch last week's original short film from Surita Productions, and the other box is so you can subscribe, which is free, by the way. And like my family always says, you always say yes to free things because most of the time, you'll have to pay for it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll definitely see you next week.